Hi guys, welcome to my channel, France Fresh Start in Chiang Mai. I just wanted to start today's vlog with the view of the rice field because it's really strange for me. I've never seen people working on a rice field before. And you remember that I told you guys how the everything turned brown now and it's like watery? Well, I think what's happening here, if you can see the farmers, they've actually purposely flooded the rice field in order to plant rice again. And from this morning, I've seen these farmers working in the field. And I can tell you that there is a reason why there's water in the rice field. Okay, I'm not a farmer, so I wasn't really sure, but it looks like rice fields, they're supposed to have water. All right. And I wanted to share that with you because for me, it's very, very interesting to see. And I think the water here came also from the rain, but also from the pond that's located over there. Maybe there's like a canal that connects the water from the pond to the field. All right. All right. So if you remember in my last vlog, I talked about the interview that I will have with Jason Varney. So he asked a lot of questions. So the vlog became a bit longer than I expected. But I just wanted to tell you guys that after this clip, you're going to see the interview that I have with Jason Varney. And I hope the information that we shared is interesting to some of you guys, okay, about Angket and about myself. So enjoy the clip, all right? And I'll see you in the next video. Ciao. Hi guys, I am here with Jason Varney, who happens to be my subscriber, and after watching several of my vlogs, especially the last vlog, which I talked about Angket and the condominiums there. He reached out to ask me some questions about Angket, and I guess he's also curious about my life. I'm also curious about Varney. So he tells me that he's a filmmaker. He's been doing that for quite a while. And well, let's let Jason introduce himself. So thanks for being in my vlog and thanks for reaching out.
No, thanks for accepting my invitation. It's quite funny actually. We're at the outside of the London Tea Room in Neiman, and there's a phone box here. And I'm actually from London. I wasn't born in London, but I spent a lot of time there. I also lived in Koreatown, UK, which is which is Europe's biggest Korean community. And that is part of the reason why I was interested in you, Fran, because you've got, obviously, Korean connection. And you've lived in different countries. Filmmaking-wise, with regards to me and why I'm in Chiang Mai, I first came to Thailand about 16 years ago. And then I got a taste for Asian culture and Asian food, but more specifically Asian food. Sorry, Asian film.
Right, Asian film, okay.
And, yes, sorry. And I started a website, miniminimovie.com, where I reviewed anything from Japanese films, Hong Kong films, Taiwanese films, Korean films, one or two Thai films that I saw. I can't remember if I actually reviewed those. Festivals I went to in London, which were East Asian, Far East Asian, or just Asian film festivals.
Okay.
That then took me to other Asian countries, and then the love of movies, especially Korean, that took me to Korea. But It was a good 4 or 5 years later that I actually went to Korea after my time in Thailand.
All right, that's a great background about Varney. So I understand that you had some questions to ask me about Angket and about myself. Well, I'm curious to know what he has to ask.
Yes, okay. Well, I'll try not to shock you too much. And I did mention a couple of things. I was interested in your, obviously we know you as Fran, but as your Korean name, do you want to say what that is?
Yeah, it's, well, if I say it in Korean pronunciation, it's Ihuran.
Yeah.
Yeah, 이호란입니다. That's
So
my
you are
name.
E, which is like they say Lee.
Yeah,
Lee.
E is like Lee. Yeah, it's
Yes,
the
that's
biggest family name.
Yeah, Lee is one of the biggest.
Yeah.
And as Fran said, I watched some videos of hers, and I've seen ones with Walkabout Wayne. I actually met briefly Walkabout Wayne a year and a half ago, and I bumped into him recently at a veggie restaurant. But I think what he does is great with the different parts of Chiang Mai.
That's right.
But it's great what you seem to be doing, because you don't see a lot of detail with people obtaining a studio or a room or whatever you want to call it, apartment, and doing it up and putting it back on the market, or even seeing a building that's been left, not abandoned, but left. I mean, how long was it that building was established, and how long was it empty?
It's not exactly empty, but 40 years ago, from what I understand, it used to be an icon in Chiang Mai. It used to be a hotel, actually. And then over the years, with the change of management and everything, it got bankrupt. It was repossessed by the bank, and then it was the rooms were sold individually to private people. So the rooms over there are now owned by private people. Like, for example, the major owners are the owners of the 7-Eleven, who own 7-Eleven in Thailand as well as Southeast Asia. So they own a lot of rooms over there, and then they rent it out to various people, Thai people as well. But recently, since the new management, Tony, he basically, since he became the manager of the building, a lot of expats been buying condominiums and renting it out as well. So quite a lot of, I would say about 40% of the people who live in Angket today are expats coming from all over the world.
Yeah, and it seems like it's in a great location with the Central Festival nearby.
Yeah, it's just 10 minutes away from Niman, and you have the serenity, the less busyness, and obviously I talk about the health of the building, which is very low EMF frequency as well. And it's so much cheaper compared to Niman, like about 1/3 of the price of Niman is just 10 minutes away from Niman. So I do think it has value, personally.
Well, we're probably going to bounce around with topics here, but I do know that you, previously to being in Chiang Mai or living in Chiang Mai as you are at the moment, and you hope to be for a while, I know that you lived in Israel. That was the last place that you lived long term.
Yes.
Because I'm a filmmaker, I specialize in Korean diaspora, Korean issues, but also fiction. But my main question about that, I also run a podcast, which is a not so Korean podcast, which this might be broadcast as part of. But my question was, or is, when you're in Israel, is there, now I know there's an expat community, of course, there's in different cities, but what about the Korean community? Is there much of one in where you were living in Israel?
Actually, there are very few Koreans living in Israel because the state of Israel is unique for the Jews. And you don't find many Jews in Korea. So for that reason, the Koreans who come to Israel are either diplomats or they work for working purposes. So they have a limit how long they could stay in Israel, which is maximum 5 years. Even if you get a student visa, you can stay up to 5 years. And to get an extension after 5 years is problematic. Other way to stay longer for Koreans in Israel is if you marry an Israeli, and then you can obtain a permanent resident. But not many Koreans marry an Israeli. It's very rare. So answer to your question is there are very few Koreans living in Israel.
Okay. Yeah, I did wonder, because I know a lot of Koreans who've married Americans, British. I went to a wedding in Germany, a Korean and German man. So I did wonder about that. The one thing I was going to mention, again, this is about Korea, but also about Chiang Mai, is that I know there's something that Koreans call 1 month living, which is Handal Sagdi. I think it's called 1 month living or living for 1 month. It's
Really?
Handal Sagdi.
What? I never heard of that term.
Okay.
But why is that term
Well,
used?
I don't know why it became a term, but the Koreans come here, South Koreans come here for 1 month.
In Thailand?
Yes.
Okay.
And specifically Chiang Mai.
Okay.
But they also do it in Da Nang in Vietnam, and they might do it in Nha Trang as well. But Chiang Mai is a hub for that. So I do have a point for this question, but I've learned quite a lot in the last 6 months. Even though I've been coming to Thailand for a decade and a half, the good thing is for Koreans that come here, they get a 90-day stamp. Now, it's also for Thais. There's kind of this agreement between Thais and Koreans, but lately Koreans are coming here. They can use the QR code straight away. Now, as a Brit, I can't do that. I have to set up a bank account in Thailand. But what's happened lately is Thais have been applying for visas in South Korea, and some of them have been denied. Now, I think that's because of the there was some people working illegally, yeah.
Right.
But it is a bit of a shame because there's kind of one rule for one country and not for the other. But the reason I was asking that was, how did that, when you came here, obviously you've lived in Israel for a long time, but you're still, what's your passport? Can I ask that?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Is it dual?
So at the moment, I'm carrying an Israeli passport, but I've applied to Korean government to restore my Korean passport. So I'm in the process of getting back my passport. I used to have a Korean passport, but I lost it a few years ago because in Korea you're not supposed to have dual citizenship. So I had to renounce the Korean citizenship for that. So now what I'm doing is I'm actually renouncing Israeli citizen in order to get back the Korean passport. It's in the process. So in a few months from now, I should get my Korean passport back, and then I will be just Korean citizen.
Wow.
So so that's in the process, and I should be getting back to Korea very soon in order to do the pledge and all that ceremony.
Oh yeah, we might be in Korea at the same time. You never know.
Yeah.
But also Philippines.
Right.
Now I know partly from the interview you did with Wayne, but also you might have talked about it on your channel itself.
Right.
You lived in the Philippines from a young age. But what was your parents' motivation for moving there? Was there already family there?
No.
It was
just work. So when I was young, my father was employed in a very big conglomerate company at that time, which is called Hanil, which is Korean Air actually is part of Hanil, which is the mother company. So he was dispatched to the Philippines because he used to be the CFO over there at the time. And since he was relocated for his job, he naturally invited his family. And that's why I moved to the Philippines as a kid.
Okay, because I did wonder. Obviously, there's Korean diaspora everywhere, and sometimes it's because of an adoptee situation. I knew it wasn't with you because you moved there with your family.
Yeah.
But also, we are going back, more than a couple of decades, and I know that Korea has changed, and there was times when Koreans wanted to move out of Korea. And Hanil, now, I took a ferry. Sorry, this is going to bore people who are not interested in Korea, but I took a ferry to Wondor, which is south of Korea, and to Jeju. And I'm pretty sure the company was, the ferry company was Hanil.
Hanil?
Maybe not the same. Maybe.
It could be the same because Hanil is a conglomerate company that dates back 40 years ago, and they own a bunch of businesses, including Korean Air. I think probably also shipyards and things like that.
They're what they call in Korea chaebol.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these big companies sort of run Korea. Samsung.
That's right.
LG,
so Hanil was one of
CJ.
The early chaebol companies.
Yes.
And my father had a good position there at the time, and
and they used to have projects all over the world, the Middle East, Philippines, so on and so forth. And that was the main reason why we moved to Philippines.
Okay. And again, bouncing back to the Korea and Chiang Mai relationship, or at least with you, you have mentioned that you might spend a bit of time in Korea, and of course you might have to go there for your passport reasons. But you mentioned that you might go over there during the burning season.
Yeah.
Would that, if you stay here for a couple of years, would that become like a regular thing, or are you just going to try it?
I have no idea.
No, okay.
All I know is that I don't wish to be here during the burning season because the pollution is very, very high. From what I heard, it's actually scary. So I don't want to be here. Now, where will I be during burning season? That is something that I haven't decided yet. It could be Korea. It could be, southern part of Thailand in the islands. Or I might be in Vietnam, or I don't know, it could be in the Philippines. I could be anywhere, but I just don't want to be here.
That's right.
So if you guys have any suggestions where I could spend the burning season, please comment, because right now I have no clue.
Yeah, I mean, that is the great thing about Asia, though, Southeast Asia and East Asia and whatever. You've just got so many choices.
Yeah.
If you wanted to, you could even hop over to Kerala, and that's a beautiful place in India. But I was here early this year. I was 2 months in Chiang Mai, and March, the air was starting to get pretty bad, and I've got sort of health issues and a bit of asthma. And my film, actually, my 30-minute drama, Reparation, which I spoke to you about, it's a Korean English film, was actually in a film festival in March in Bangkok. So it was a perfect timing for me to disappear from Chiang Mai. It's a terrible situation when you tell people you're going to Bangkok to get away from the pollution, because Bangkok has always been known as a polluted city. That has its own problems.
I heard that during the burning season, Bangkok is also not that great.
That's right. It still gets affected, but of course it is...
Not as bad as here, but still.
That's exactly it, yeah. I mean, I'm not selling Bangkok as a better place. I'm just saying it was perfect for me. It's a 9-hour, 10-hour train ride away. That just shows you how far it is. But, yeah, this is not unique to Chiang Mai, this burning season. It's surrounding areas. It affects east of Thailand and the other countries. So, and then I went over to Korea. So for me, the burning season was a perfect escape. Yeah,
I think it's a perfect escape from Chiang Mai, just to spend somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, there's people out there that do kind of put some hate on Chiang Mai just because of 3 months of the year. But when you're living in a beautiful place like Thailand, there's no excuse.
Yeah.
You can go somewhere else beautiful for 3 months.
Exactly.
And still be in Thailand.
Yeah, I mean, I find Thailand to be a country like a resort.
Yeah.
I could be one in the north, and then the next minute I could be in the south.
Yeah. And that's it. And then there's people also that talk about not having a beach here. Well, that makes even more reason for that holiday, to then have a vacation to Hua Hin or Koh Samui or somewhere where there's a beach,
Koh Phangan, Phuket.
Yeah.
There are so many islands that I don't even know yet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've only been to a couple, and I've stayed in a few places, and I really kick myself. I've still never been to Pai. And I've still never been to Chiang Rai. It's because I get stuck in one place and I don't switch off very easily.
That's my next destination, by the way.
Which one, Pai or?
Both.
Oh, yeah,
both. Yeah. I was already in Pai, but I didn't spend enough time to explore, so I want to go back. Yeah.
Yeah, and talking of that, we were saying that. Well, I was saying at least that when I first came to Chiang Mai 16 years ago, when you come here for 2 or 3 days, like you would go to Pai, you don't know Chiang Mai at all. And it was only last year when I came back, thanks to Retired Working For You's YouTube channel, there's a big subscriber meetup here. And I stayed in the old town, and even though I didn't move very far from that area, I just fell in love with Chiang Mai, like, this is what Chiang Mai can be. And, we're in Niman right now, and each pocket of Chiang Mai is different. Where you said earlier, where that's great for expats because there's Big C.
Are you talking about where Angket is?
Oh, sorry, where near Angket is. That's what I mean.
Well, Angket, it's more of a Thai area. So you would find a lot of Thai people there.
Yes.
not too many expats, but I would
But it has
expect more expats in that area because of the U.S. consul. So I do
For
believe,
US ones.
yeah, so expats would increase.
But that's interesting because there's even been a British guy that you've interacted with who's still loving it there.
Oh yeah,
He
Nick.
loves it, and he's not US, so there's obviously it's got a lot of appeal.
No, in Angket Pavilion, we've got expats from all over the world: Australia, US, England, Singapore, Malaysia, many Koreans.
I have a question because we've been, as I say, bouncing across topics here from Korea to Chiang Mai and that. But I notice on your Facebook page, you're not just an entrepreneur. You call yourself a nomadpreneur, and is that a term that I'm just missing out on?
Well, yeah, that's because up until a few days ago, I was representing a tech company, and I've been in tech industry for more than a decade, about 15 years now. I do identify myself as tech person because I have so much experience and background in cybersecurity and digital and data, etc. So who knows? Maybe I will go back to tech industry again. I mean, there are tech companies in Thailand as well. It's growing, the AI and digital. So,
and we were talking about something earlier to do with electronics and cables.
Right, EMF.
And did you know about that because of your background?
Actually, it was a coincidence that I'm representing several condos in Angket, and people wants to come and see the condos, and one of the potential tenant who was thinking about renting a condo in Angket that belongs to my friend she had a device that can measure EMF. And where she was staying, I think she was staying in Niman, and where she was staying in her condo, the EMF was showing 28,000 as opposed to 200 in Angket.
Wow.
Was nothing. 28,000 versus 200. So she said, oh my God, this place has very low EMF. So I asked her, what is EMF? And electromotive frequency, and this is very unhealthy for, to have such a high frequency. And that's when I realized that this building is very healthy. Angket is very healthy because it has the lowest frequency. And then I started to investigate, and the reason is because around Angket, there is no industrial, there is no big electrical circuit like you can see here in Niman. And it's like in the middle of a rice field, literally. So that's the reason why it's very healthy.
Yeah, and actually another reason why an expat might like to live in that area, because it's still distance enough from Central Festival, but because it can be quite near to Central Festival, it's just a walk away. If you're doing stuff at immigration, which I've dealt with before, the one at the immigration office in Central Festival itself is meant to be a lot more streamlined than the one down near the airport. So again, it's another selling point for that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I understand that the immigration office located in Central Festival is a new branch. It makes it very easier for foreigners to get their 90 days reporting and then get their visas extended, etc. And it's very convenient. Yeah.
I've used it there twice, and I've only used one other in Thailand, and that is down in Jom Tiem, and it just felt like chaos there.
Yeah.
And when I came to Chiang Mai and I had to do something to do with immigration, they almost help you through. It was the opposite feeling that I got from being down in Jom Tiem, which is kind of a couple of hours away from Bangkok.
Yeah, I was there with Nick when he had to extend his visa, and it was very, very quick. He had his visa extended in a matter of 1 hour.
Yeah,
there's an information desk there, and you got forms and everything, and
photos printed if you
right. You don't even need an agent. You can do it yourself.
Yeah, and again, I think a lot of this comes down to the people in Chiang Mai, because the way they are. I've just come from. I've recently been to a hospital here, Sripat Hospital, and again, the people there and the workers are brilliant. Now, of course, that's a hospital that's attached. That's come from Chiang Mai University, so that the people there, they know their stuff. And I don't know if it's just because of Chiang Mai and the northern Thailand vibe, but you do feel that these Thai people want to help you.
Yeah.
And maybe because these other areas, Bangkok, Jomtien, they're heavily tourist. I mean, of course, Chiang Mai is, but it doesn't feel like that. Chiang Mai doesn't feel.
I heard. I have friends who's visited Vietnam recently, and I can tell you that Vietnam is really, the government is really doing their best to attract more tourists. Okay, for example, during summer, they would have these fireworks, every day for no reason at all, just to make Vietnam more attractive for tourists. And I think Thai government is aware of the neighboring countries are doing promotions to attract more tourists. So Thai government is working very hard to attract more tourists. They don't want to lose their momentum. And I believe that this is another reason why they have revised the freehold to 75% as opposed to 49%. And this is another reason why they are also extending leniency on the visas for the tourists, because they don't want to lose their tourists to their neighboring countries like Vietnam or Malaysia or anywhere else, right? Indonesia and all that.
And the DTV, which...
The DTV was something new as well. So...
has that 75% thing come into... has it officially come into place now? I know it's talked about.
Yeah, well, I heard about this revision a couple of months ago. Not so sure if it's already effect right now. But from the rumors that I hear, it'll be this year, but we'll see.
I'm sure you've heard about this, for example, on Fran's channel, where she would talk about the 49 and 51%, which I don't know if you want to elaborate on that, but it's now... which way around is it? Sorry, 51.
No, 51 is for the Thai.
Yeah, of course.
49 is for the expats, for the foreigners.
Yeah.
The condos that I'm representing for my friends in Angket, they're all freehold. So no worries. If you guys are interested in investing or building yourself a sanctuary, they can be yours.
Okay. Well, I have got a couple other questions. Let me just pick another one. Is there anything you want to ask me while I'm looking at these questions?
I can't think of anything, but go ahead, because we do have a limited time for my vlog.
Well, let's ask one more about your son. Now, he's in Bangkok.
Right.
Has he had a chance to A, come to Chiang Mai to visit you, and B, to see what's going on with the places that you live in, that building, Angket? And those two things. Has he been up here much? Or?
Yeah, first of all, he came to visit me after only 3 weeks. I'm here. He came to visit me here in Chiang Mai, and we actually spent quality time here at Chiang Mai. He fell in love with Chiang Mai so much so that he bought himself a condo in Angket as well. So now he has his own place. I said, but I've got a spare room in my condo. Why don't you stay in my place? Mom, I need my privacy, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So he has his own condo in Chiang Mai, actually. Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that. Or maybe I forgot.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, there's other things we can talk about, maybe another time. But maybe we'll have you as a guest on Not So Korean podcast.
Oh yeah.
Or one of the Chiang Mai.
I'd love to. I'd love to. So thank you so much for this opportunity, for asking questions. I hope that the information we shared today can be useful for some of you guys out there. And if you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to comment in my channel, and you have my line and email as well. So thank you so much for today.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.